Alright, Sag. I'm really interested to see these runes because runes give me a higher insight and they show me how these cards glued together. Because it looks like you're on a growing kind of thing, like you're a fire child. Sag is a fire sign, and fire is really charismatic. They move very forward, kind of like they burn things around them and they don't look back. So, you know, at some point in life we become, we just kind of gain more maturity, we kind of accumulate things in life. We have wife, husband, kids, you know, or we have a partner, and now there are other people in our life that depend on us, they kind of like want to be around us. So, you know, we have to build the other parts of our personality. So when I pull runes, it kind of gives me the overall feeling on, you know, I mean, if the emphasis was placed in a proper way. So, okay, so let's see. What is your rune? Whoa. Last week you had a rule of Runyo, that's something that kind of like was falling in love, something that will happen between 3 days and 3 weeks. So this still could be in the process. Now, interesting enough, you see, I told you, my reading, like tarot always tells, oh my God, like I mean, I'm a life coach by profession. My background is psychology, and my clients come to me and they tell me, I don't know, I want to lose weight, or, you know, like I want to get a job, or, you know, I need to be less, you know, lackadaisical, or like I need to be more pragmatic. And so I set pragmatic steps for them how to get there, and so kind of follow them week after week. And when I introduce tarot, and maybe I should actually record a little bit about me so you can get more information. And I mean, I have a PhD in psychology, so I use tarot cards as a tool to give me the insight. And I don't use it as a superstition. I don't believe in hearing messages or anything like that, because cards are visual communication. And if you've seen the movie Arrival, this is like so much to the point. This is just like a visual language to me. And when a client is like shuffling those cards, subconscious is really working, and like they always tell the truth. I don't know how, but they work. And that's all that matters to me, that they work. So basically this is the rune of, what did I say? Yeah, that's the rune of danger. Why did I think it's the rune of progress? And like when you see this, it's like it's not as bad as it sounds. Kind of like, it does kind of like warn you about misstep. And this is what basically we were talking about here already. And you know, like the key concept is like it's the rune of ice and cold. And sort of like it does look like a popsicle icicle, so it's appropriate, and it kind of relates to the month of January and February, which is kind of like also called snow moon. And you know, symbolism of Isa extends just beyond a single icicle, and that kind of represents the snow and ice in all forms. And it's maybe the most descriptive comparison would be with glaciers, prehistoric glaciers, which we are having less and less of them. But let's not go into a political thing. Like, so glaciers were carving out, you know, the forms of the Norwegian fjords, and kind of like creating the kind of like how the land was shaped. So just you can imagine the power of this rune. And you know, the states of cold and numbness, and like it's very likely that after what you have been through and doing this lots of contemplation, that you kind of like feel that somebody's giving you a cold shoulder. This relates to number 7, and again we are going 7 days, 7 weeks, and 7 months, and this actually, you can even indicate 7 years. So, you know, there is no upright or downward, it's the same way both ways. So hence it only has one meaning, and it's obviously prominent position here since we actually have only way. It says again, the patience is, you know, you like not only becomes a virtue but a necessity. So talking about, you know, tarot cards being always right, did we not talk about it, that, you know, you're trying to build yourself somebody new, or you will be able to understand somebody better, and you have to be patient even if they do something completely out of character, something completely insensitive, they step on your toes, you know, or they just like mess up. So you really have to be patient, because the power of this rune, as the rune is unstoppable, so it's extremely powerful. This is just like a glacier. Just imagine glacier, you're watching a glacier going down, and there's nothing and nobody, no power on this world that would just jump and be able to stop it. So, but fortunately, it also possesses the glacier's lack of speed. So things will be evolving slower. If this appears, as an answer to, some certain kind of things that you're going through or you're looking for a solution, the answer tends to be positive, affirmative. And since there's no inverted meaning, but also the events are going to take their own sweet time, which also here, you are evolving into something else. You're this glacier. I feel like this kind of really refers to you. And it's kind of you kind of did see a need for change, and what basically is happening over here, because you're going into this earth energy, and fire usually burns earth, but you have a need for being grounded over here, because that's a little bit of sky energy, and we know what happens when you blow air on a fire, it just gets bigger, so this is really good. It's going to be slower. It's going to slow you down. Maybe you need really time to think through it. And, and this can also indicate worry, especially if a question indicates relationship. As I said, I kind of see that this is where you're striving to. This kind of in the past readings was lots of relationship, and, kind of it kind of cools optimism, and is going through an icy phase. You've been dealing through it, but from what I'm seeing in these cards, you are right now going in action, because for such a long time, for 2-3 months or 4 months, you have been inactive, and just things were happening to you, and you were not able or not willing to take action. And now it basically says that this can be uncomfortable time, and there'll be delays and frustration, but this also can be blessing in disguise, because your desires will slowly evolve over this period. So this can kind of even show respite, sort of refuge from emotional turmoil. And so basically the lesson here would be to tread carefully, and that basically means, is going back to this card, it kind of you're walking through uncharted waters right now. You're rebuilding yourself to something new. You're repairing things that have been broken. This was foundation. Whatever happened, it was not built on the right foundation. If you're going back to your old partner, and indications are there, look at here, you have communication cards, Knight and Page would be communication cards. 10 is also end of the cycle. This is end of the cycle, but this kind of you're still stuck. There is still that energy going on, so you either have to decide to let go of it, or to reinvent yourself so you can actually work better with whoever was there in the past. Just be careful not to be hasty, because it will just lead to more frustration. And when you're hasty, you can lose your footing and slip. So this rune really nicely glued this, and I'm sorry that I don't have some better news for you, but considering what you have been going through, I think this is not bad. You're building, and you're building something solid. You just don't want things to be placed on the sort of false grounds, because you like the love, but you would like this love to last. So dear Sag, please give me your comments and enter the competition for free reading, and I'll talk to you next week. Sag, one more thing I forgot to mention. I published the video that basically is a meditation about love. I suggest you do that, because it's going to fine-tune you, maybe even for the people who are not looking for soulmate. It basically is based on specific Solveig vibrations that are fine-tuning you, and you're removing kind of bad parts. So this kind of can speed up all this kind of development, and I suggest this to be your homework. So good luck, and again, see you next week.